Sometimes I do think street photography is a little bit nonsense. I'm literally photographing a pigeon or a shadow on the floor or a random person on the street I'll never see ever again. None of these things are profound. Nobody is going to pay me for any of this. And unfortunately, almost all of it is pretty forgettable. But street photography is also wandering without a destination, searching for nothing in particular. It's failure after failure after failure. And there is no single hack or productivity to-do list that will make you a better street photographer. There is no single way of cheating this system. And there is absolutely no guarantee that you will get any good photographs at any given time. And that's exactly why I think it is so bloody good. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Street photography really is the antithesis of modern life. Modern life is productive. Street photography is deliberately unproductive. Modern life is efficient. Street photography is wandering. Modern life demands results. Street photography is mostly failure. Modern life wants you to be optimized. Street photography encourages you to be bored and curious. And back to my original point that street photography is nonsense. Of course, I don't actually think that, but to an outside viewer, to a regular person, it does kind of look pretty meaningless. But to those of us that love it, why? One of the easiest ways to explain the beauty of street photography is to compare it to people watching. Most people enjoy people watching, sat in a coffee shop watching the world go by. Street photography, in my eyes, is the most intentional form of people watching. Finding details you like, colors that get your attention, and just watching humans be humans, which is at the core of it. I interviewed Paul Harrison about 2 years ago for a short documentary profile video about his photography. And he made this beautiful point about comparing street photography to people watching. And I think it's so relevant to what I'm saying here. So I want to share this clip with you now.
Is spending all your time, hopefully, noticing good things that are happening around you. Little interactions, a glance that one person gives someone else, or the way that someone is holding someone else's hands. Two people who are wearing identical outfits and they don't realise, they don't know each other and they walk past each other. It's almost like a film you're watching, or plays. The idea of street photography is theatre, or the street is theatre, is the one I very much like hold on to. And the you're just pressing pause for 500ths of a second, whatever it might be. Like we were walking around together, not just today, but a few weeks ago, and there were things that we missed. Cameras weren't ready, or the person who, it'd be better if they'd walked past it, actually walked past 2 minutes ago. And it was still a joy just to have witnessed it, or to have it in our heads that such a thing could happen in this world, rather than the other option, which is you just spend your day in central London, walking around, spending money, coming home, feeling a bit sad, and just go in and this play that goes on around you. And it's good for the soul. It really, really is. It's good for your mental health with all the walking, and big cities can grind you down.
So the reason I'm here talking about why I think street photography is a little bit nonsense, even though I don't really think that, came from this. Now, this is a show of hands. This is a beautiful zine from Cal Holland, showcasing literally strangers' hands on the street. There's some absolutely beautiful pictures in here. It's a very fun read. The reason I'm saying street photography is nonsense is because when this arrived at my house, I want to share a very brief conversation with my girlfriend, Hannah. This arrives and I open it up and Hannah says, "What's that?" I say, "It's a new photo zine." She says, "What's it about?" And I reply, "People's hands." Hannah is not a photographer, nor does she particularly care about street photography, which is quite a humbling reality, the fact that I'm obsessed with it and she doesn't really share the same interest. From her perspective, Cal has taken photographs, a lot of close-up, detailed, like Cal had to give this some attention and some focus to collect these photographs. But it's just of strangers and their hands. What? All jokes aside, the reality is that as someone that enjoys photography and enjoys looking at pictures, what Cal has done here is an appreciation for human behavior. It's a record of the random, it's a record of the unexpected moments and the quiet moments that everybody else on the street wouldn't notice. And in the end, this is just an absolute joy to look at. But again, like at face value, it is just photographs of strangers' hands. There is something to say here about all of this street photography nonsense, that it is actually real people, real places, happening at real times. And I think in an era of AI sloppage, documentary and journalism, photography and street photography in general, I actually think it's going to become more valuable. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, fingers crossed. But I don't think people care about fake stuff. It might be entertaining and it might be funny and it might be whatever it is. But I think once we're past this era of like, oh, look how fancy AI is, look how good it is, I think we're already there in a way where people just don't care. Whereas Cal's record of strangers' hands on the street, or even Paul Harrison's recent project, The Queen is Dead, documenting the week the Queen died. These photographs are more important and more powerful than any fake representation of that day will be. This could probably be a conversation or a topic for a whole video, but I kind of get bored talking about AI and photography. Hopefully we're all sick of it at this point, and I don't need to go into it anymore. But street photography being nonsense, I think, is the entire point, because it's real life and life is nonsense. So yeah, just my thoughts on AI for a second there. Let's lighten up the mood very quickly, and I thought at this point in the video it could be fun to make things super practical and tangible just for a few minutes. So I want to list some stuff that I look out for when I'm on the street. Some things that might be considered just nonsense to everyone else, but here's fun street photography triggers. That's what a lot of photographers call this. Things that get my attention that hopefully you can then go and look for on the street. Now, no one photograph is going to be the same, so I don't mind sharing these details and these things that I look out for, because when you go and see them, it'll end up being different anyway. So let's do it. Number one is miscellaneous items. This could be balloons, funky walking sticks, and just unusual objects on the street. Number two, satisfying layers of people. This might be spacing between people or groups arranged in pleasing ways, or orderly formations that just need a composition. Number three, gestures and expressions. Similar to Cal's project, A Show of Hands, this could be people pointing, holding, grabbing, reaching. This is just humans doing human stuff. Number four, shapes and geometry. Leading lines, negative space, or simply random but compelling compositions. Number five is color. Matching colors and unexpected coincidences are always fun to keep an eye out for. And number six is light. Whether it's natural sunlight or artificial light, reflections from windows or puddles or shops, or even just noticing how shadows are formed. Those are actually pretty fundamental, elementary level triggers, face value aspects and details on the street that get you started looking and taking pictures of things. And beyond that, it is down to the photographer to tell a story or express a certain emotion within the photograph, which takes it to a whole nother level. The idea here is that life is a game, and street photographers are collecting moments in real time of the real world. That's way better than doing it on a video game or leveling up your character online. Like, street photography is real, and I just think that's amazing. Just before we go any further, I'd like to share something with you that could be very useful. If you're a video editor, content creator, somebody that just makes stuff, this could be handy, and it's coming from the guys over at Storyblocks. This does sound pretty bold to say, but Storyblocks offer unlimited music, sound effects, images, video, graphic templates, essentially everything I need to help make these videos. Long story short, it's unlimited downloads of diverse, high-quality media for one predictable subscription cost. For example, all the music you can hear in this video is from Storyblocks, and the best bit about it is it plugs straight into Premiere Pro. So I don't need to leave my timeline. I could download and browse and find music directly in my project. You know how I mentioned AI earlier on? Well, nothing you find on Storyblocks is generative AI. Everything is human-made. That's what we like to see. If this sounds like it could be useful to you and you'd like to get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/Mike Chudley or click the link in the description. Thank you again to the guys over at Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Very quickly, I want to add some personal reasons to why street photography means so much to me. And the first thing it's done is made me so deeply grateful for where I live. Locally, in and around Essex, and generally speaking, I just think this country is beautiful. But also appreciating a city like London. It's absolutely marvelous that that thing exists. And it's so easy if you're just online to read, bad comments and ideas and topics about London has fallen and Great Britain is no longer, whatever they want to say. Actually experiencing England and this country in real time, in the real world, away from screens, you will see that this place is stunning. And street photography, looking, searching, hunting for unique moments and appreciating details in the world makes you realize that, wow, this place is amazing. So that's my first very biased opinion of this country, but street photography has awakened that in me. I speak to people all the time and they live in and around London and they share no gratitude or appreciation of what we have here. And I think that's unfortunate. And it sounds like a pretty boring way to go about your day to day. But as a photographer, as a street photographer, it really opens your eyes to how lovely and wonderful people are and how stunning and gorgeous this country really is. So I know some people might not like that I just shared some appreciation for this country, but I do think we need more of it. The core of my message right there was just that if you spend too much time on the internet, it could be easy for you to want to hate everything. But street photography has taught me how lovely everybody is day to day on the street, but also where all the best coffee shops are and how much fun you can have in the city without having a to-do list and rushing between chores and adult stuff. Like street photography is playful and it's creative, and we need more of that in our life. Street photography really isn't about making profound art, even though sometimes it might be, and intentionally that might be people's goal. Great. But at a base level, street photography is an excuse to go outside, to go do something, to make something, to move your body and just think differently. Also touching on a point that I haven't really mentioned here, and that is something we can't entirely control, but this is the historical documentation of street photography and the value that it might have in the future. So whether it's a super newsworthy event like the Queen dying and Paul making this scene here, or just an average Tuesday on Oxford Street, having those photographs for future us and future generations is cool. More of an unbiased look at the real world, instead of maybe, let's imagine that photographs in the street were completely organized and documented by the FTSE 100. Like, the world would look very different if the government or big businesses were in charge of what the real world looked like. So I think it's nice that people on the street, ground level citizens, can share what the world looks like to them. And that, I think, will be valuable in the future. Just like when I look at Matt Stewart's London book, I can see what London was like 25 years ago. Or if I look at Paul Graham's A1 book, I can see what the country looked like 30 years ago. That's cool. Going back to the day-to-day aspect of street photography, I think it's psychologically pretty healthy. Where else are you failing consistently? Where else are you walking aimlessly without a goal and being curious about life? We need more playfulness in our world, and street photography is an excuse to do that. So yeah, street photography is a little bit random and meaningless to some people, I'm sure, but it has made me way more appreciative of what we have. And I'll say it again, I think it really is the antithesis of modern life, the unproductiveness of it all, the searching and wandering. I think it's good for us. So if you pop into the shop, if you're getting some tea and some milk, take your camera with you and you might see something that interests you, and other people might think that that's nonsense. Maybe they're right, but that's the point.